Rangers in crisis mode. Russell Martin hanging by a thread, Kevin Thelwell facing the axe, and Nico Rascin dragged back into the squad after a shock exile. We've got Barry Ferguson throwing fire at the current regime and a Europa League snub that's left Nedim Bajrami fuming. Tensions are boiling, the pressure is suffocating, and the drama at Ibrox is just getting started. Stay locked in. This is not the week to look away. Rangers made headlines across the country as the summer window slammed shut, shelling out a whopping £20 million in a bold bid to turn the tide under Russell Martin. But now, as the dust settles and the results remain patchy, the pressure at Ibrox is boiling over. And it's not just the manager who's feeling the heat. Sporting director Kevin Felwell, who oversaw a complete rebuild with 13 new faces walking through the doors at Ibrox, is already under fire. Reports suggest he didn't just back Martin, he backed him with an ultimatum. Allegedly, Thelwell threatened to walk if Martin was sacked. That's not just a show of support, that's doubling down with your own future on the line. But here's the kicker. His position might not be as bulletproof as he thinks. Journalist Keith Jackson didn't mince his words, saying Thelwell hasn't done enough and looks out of his depth. And let's be honest, you're seeing the same things. 3 wins from 11, that's not Rangers standard. And then there's the real eyebrow raiser, £8 million splashed on Chamiti, the most expensive signing in 25 years at Ibrox. A striker who's not only failed to score a single goal in 24 appearances for Everton, but who Thelwell himself signed for them just a year ago. You can almost hear the Celtic lot laughing from across the city, and that's what stings the most. Thelwell claims the squad is massively improved, but with draws piling up and defeats at home looming, especially against top-of-the-league Hearts, it's make or break time. If Martin goes, Thelwell could be packing his bags right behind him. Now, here's the question for you. If Thelwell is tying his future to Martin's and both are underperforming, should the board cut their losses and send the pair of them packing before things get even worse? Russell Martin is hanging by a thread at Ibrox, and now even Barry Ferguson, a man who bleeds Rangers blue, is stepping in with a blunt bit of advice. With 4 league games played and not a single win to show for it, the calls for Martin to be shown the door are getting louder by the day. This Saturday's clash against Hearts isn't just a match, it's a litmus test, a moment where Martin either turns things around or edges closer to the sack. And Barry's message is simple. Forget the pretty football, forget the excuses, just get the 3 points. That's the bare minimum now. Hearts come into Ibrox 6 points clear. Derek McInnes with a spring in his step, smelling blood. And across the city, Celtic are in their own shambles, fans raging at their board for a quiet transfer window. It's a rare chance for Rangers to claw back ground while the green side of Glasgow stumbles. But make no mistake, if Rangers don't win on Saturday, the pressure on Martin becomes unbearable. The stats make for grim reading. 4 draws, a humiliation in Europe, 9-1 on aggregate to Club Brugge, dressing room disharmony with Nico Rascin. And here's the sting in the tail. Barry Ferguson, who didn't even get the permanent job, still holds a better win rate than Martin, 40% to just over 27. That's not a small difference, that's a chasm. It's not about style now, it's about survival. Martin needs a win, and anything less will only fuel the noise calling for his dismissal. Should Rangers have stuck with Barry Ferguson instead of gambling on a man who, so far, looks out of his depth at Ibrox? Nico Rascin is back in the mix at Ibrox, but only just. After a very public fallout that saw him completely bombed out of the squad for the goalless draw against Celtic, the Belgian midfielder has now returned to training following what's being described as crunch talks with Russell Martin. It's a remarkable turnaround for a player who was once seen as central to the midfield. Martin admitted not long ago that Raskin's head had been turned by transfer speculation, and that's why he was left out of the Champions League qualifier against Victoria Plzen. Now, with the smoke clearing, Raskin has broken his silence and pledged to earn his way back into Martin's plans. He's certainly not lacking form, scoring in Belgium's 6-0 thrashing of Kazakhstan during the international break. But here's the catch. Despite being back in training ahead of Saturday's clash with Hearts, there's still no guarantee he'll be in the starting 11. It's looking more likely he'll have to settle for the bench while Martin tries to patch together a run of form, and that run couldn't be more vital. Hearts this weekend, Hibs in the Cup quarter-final on the 20th, Genk visiting Ibrox for the Europa League opener on the 25th. Martin's under massive pressure to show something, anything that proves he's the right man for this job. Now, let's not sugarcoat it. Leaving Raskin out against Celtic when you're already under pressure was a massive call. Bringing him back now with strings attached just adds more tension to a dressing room already creaking. Should Martin be trusted to manage a player like Raskin when he couldn't even keep him in line during the biggest match of the season so far? Nedim Bajrami is clinging to hope that 2 solid showings for Albania might just be the spark he needs to reignite a stalling Rangers career. The midfielder, who's been frozen out under Russell Martin, has started just once all season, and that came in a routine Premier Sports Cup tie against Alloa. Since then, 31 measly minutes in the Premiership and a brutal snub from the Europa League squad, but international duty offered him a lifeline. Bajrami started both matches for Albania during the break, helping his country to wins over Gibraltar and Latvia, and he didn't just make up the numbers, he impressed. He's come back to Ibrox buzzing with confidence and desperate to force his way into Martin's plans. He's saying all the right things, talking about hard work and focus, but let's be honest, you can hear the frustration between the lines. This is a player who made 28 league appearances last season. Now he's watching from the sidelines while Rangers drop points and drift 6 behind Celtic. Martin clearly has his preferred options, but with results not going his way and with games coming thick and fast, you have to wonder, what's the harm in giving Bajrami a proper run? And if he's good enough for Albania, surely he's good enough to help Rangers dig out a few results. Is Russell Martin cutting off his nose to spite his face by leaving a fully fit, in-form international like Bajrami out of the squad while the team struggles for creativity and energy in midfield? Comment below what you think about the news. Don't forget to leave a like on the video to help me out. I post videos every day talking about our Rangers, so if you're not subscribed, you're missing out on the latest news. See you soon.